Hello, Scrappy Peeps. Suzanna here today to share with you this Christmas layout created using the Holiday Dreams collection from PinkFresh Studio, as well as a Lawn Fawn metal die and some picket fence studio sequins. So I am going to make a sequence shaker that will come later, but for now I am putting a header and a footer using some of the 12 by 12 papers from PinkFresh Studio. I love the PinkFresh Studio Christmas collections. I get them every year, and every year I buy a few of the 12 by 12 papers as well as the 12 by 12 paper pad. I like the finer detail in the, not 12 by 12, I'm sorry, I apologize, the 6 by 6 paper pad. I like the finer detail in the patterns in the 6 by 6. So I have the header, and I decided to fussy cut that I guess it's swag, the banner, the greenery. And then I have I believe it's a 3 by 3 photo, as well as this smaller, it's not a 4, it's a 6 by 4 that's shrunk down to whatever size was going to fit in that O. So that Joy is another metal die. It's not available from A Cherry on Top. It's from my stash. But I really wanted that second round element to go with the wreath that I knew I wanted to put the shaker in. So I feel like I have a lot of that same tone green and red and pink, and I wanted that lighter green that's up the top to go in the layout for a little bit more contrast. But I'm not sure. I'm going to shuffle things around a little bit because I want a grid layout, but I don't exactly want it to be very boxy. And that's why I'm using that O with the wreath shaker to sort of break that up a little bit. And I'm not sure quite how I'm going to get this all to fit in, given that I'm not going to cut the circles out of the pictures themselves. So I am using this journaling bit up the top there. I'm giving myself the option of having a pocket. So you could see that I used 1/4 inch double-sided tape there. And so something can slide in and out behind it. I actually don't have anything in there at this point in time, but I like to give myself that option. I also decided to close the envelope, and so that added the green to the bottom there. I am bothered by the journaling, or I'm not even sure what it says at this point because I know I end up covering it up. But I'm bothered by that. But I thought that if I had the photo, and then another circle, that would tie everything together with him in the middle there. But it's just this sort of glaring blah. And so that's bothering me, but I'm going to continue working because shuffling it around at this point isn't going to solve the fact that I still need to make the shaker. So A Cherry on Top sells acetate. It's fantastic acetate. I think it's either a 6-pack or a 10-pack. So I'm using that acetate, and that is glued just using liquid adhesive behind the die cut there. And then I'm going to cut out several of them. I think I end up cutting out 6 total so that I have enough depth for the sequence that they can actually shake. The line of the circle on the inner circle there is way too thin to put foam adhesive. Not the foam adhesive that I have anyway. I could cut it, but it would have been very messy. And so the best way to do that is literally just cut multiples and glue them together, and that will give you enough depth. So I do that out of just random cardstock that I have, just because I don't want to use all of that pattern paper for something that you're not going to see anyway. But I do have to be mindful of how I do it because I don't want you to see that paper that's behind it. So just a little bit of that diagonal strip from the 6 by 6 paper pad down the bottom there, just to tie all the colors together. I'm trimming off the acetate because I don't want, you can see it when you adhere it down to the page, and I don't want to see too much of it. I don't mind seeing it because it is a clear element. So I've cut out a bunch of these. There's a lot of this video that I am going to spare you the agony of having to watch because it's just repetitive stuff that I do over and over again, like cutting 6 of these out. So I cut a whole bunch of them out, and then I'm going to actually glue them together and trim them down so that, like I said before, you don't see all of that outer outer edge there. And so that is the depth that I've provided. So I've got the front, the one that you're going to see, that's actually down on the paper right now. And then this is going to be the ring of the ones that you are not going to see that I'm just trimming off. So literally all I have here is the circle. The acetate is attached, or the front piece of acetate is attached to the back of the front piece of pattern paper. So I'm going to glue those down, and then that will give me the high enough walls. That's something that you have to be mindful of. Make sure that the walls of your shaker are tall enough so that the sequins, or this isn't all sequins. The snowflakes and the candy canes, I think they're made out of like a Play-Doh sort of thing. And so they're shapes, and they are pretty thick. So you have to make sure you have a thick enough wall. So that's my backing there. That has the acetate, and that is going to go on the back side of the last piece. And I'm going to use some of this. It's Picket Fence Studio. They have some fantastic sequence mixes. Absolutely fantastic. I love them. I have a snowflake one for winter as well. Some came in a kit for Halloween. So I'm going to trim that off, and I'm going to try not to make too much of a mess like I did when I trimmed all the others off, and just cut directly over the garbage can there. So unfortunately, some of this ends up being off camera, but you know what it is that I'm doing, because basically what I'm doing is sticking down adhesive. So there goes the back wall of the sequence shaker. I'm going to hold it down for a bit because I have liquid adhesive and I don't want that to slide as I'm letting it dry, but look how cute that is. So yep. Now we've got the two circles, and you've got a top row and a bottom row, and the intent is that the title will go in the middle, possibly even some journaling. But again, I've got spots for two hidden spots for journaling. Not that it needs to be hidden, it just adds to the cleanliness of the page, but I'm still able to tell the story. So now putting another layer of adhesive down and adhering that down to the page. You can see I have a bunch of extra die cuts that I've cut on the right hand side, and so I'm going to tuck those into the wreath. I'm going to cut out a poinsettia. I'm going to cut out a bunch of red berries and adhere that in, as well as I have a Tim Holtz die that I used with that mint green, because as I mentioned earlier, I wanted a little bit more of that mint green in there, and I'm going to spare you the agony of watching me do that. I'm literally just going to place them so that there's a nice variety of color and mix, and then stick that in there. I am on the poinsettias though going to cut the center out with some gold foil. So just adding a little bit of sparkle with that. That is the only place where you're going to see the gold foil, but you do have the gold in the grommets of the pocket on the left-hand side of the photo there. There is going to be a little bit of shimmer because I'm going to take some of my stickles, red stickles, and put some red dots at the top in the swag wreath that is up there, and there will be a little bit of shimmer in the snowflakes as well, using a wink of Stella pen. All of that I end up doing off camera, so I apologize. The other thing I am going to do off camera is I'm going to add some Lawn Fawn wood veneer snowflakes. Those have been in my stash forever, but I just felt like I needed a little more at Joy, and then because I had put that one there, I wanted to tie everything together, and so I put two others in, and you'll see those in the close-ups. So finishing off the wreath there, and I have some extra, and I really wanted to put something that was going to go into that center spot where the title is going to go, to just break up the grid there. And just soften that a little bit. So I'm going to put a little bit of that greenery in there. And I really like the way you'll see in the close-up how that just, it really does literally soften it and make it less rigid and a little bit more softer on the eye, easier to look at. So for the title is going to be Mission Completion, because this is a layout of Nicholas on Christmas Day building his Lego of Baby Yoda. And so the goal was to get it done. And so you can see in the beginning, he's building it. And then the second photo was him with the finished Lego present. And so the title, the letters on the left-hand side, so Mission, are cut from a piece of the pattern paper, and I just put all the dots, the red pattern paper at the bottom. And that was I believe that's an Echo Park die that, again, is not available from a Cherry on Top. It was in my stash, as well as some green letter stickers that are from PinkFresh Studio. They're actually not from a Christmas collection. They're from one earlier this year that I've linked you up over at a Cherry on Top. You can see all of the product and then click on it and then go and buy it if you are interested. So a couple of the die cuts, a couple of the stickers I'm going to mingle in just for a little bit of variety. This present that I am fussy cutting the white border of, I will pop up on some foam just to add some dimension. You know, that's what I do. I don't think I've completed a layout in ages that does not have something that is not popped up on foam. So foam is available in multiple sizes. I just stick with the standard 1/2 inch because I don't know, having too many of them around it means that I'm constantly searching for something, which I don't want to do. So having those 3 boxes there, the present and then the Merry Memories and then that green label was a bit disturbing, so I just kind of put a little bit of greenery in there that softens it and ties it all up together. So there's the shaker in action. Be sure to check out the description box for a link to the website with all of the product that I use. Thanks for stopping in today. I hope you're doing well. Come back again soon. Take care.